Hey guys, here we go into a film study on Guilllermo Rigondeaux versus Vasyl Lomachenko, or vice versa. And we're going to be talking about why it was so easy for Lomachenko to kind of destroy Rigondeaux. You know, one of the things that I talked about that was a main point in the build-up to this fight was that Rigondeaux is, when he fights southpaws, he's conventionally a counterpuncher. Right? He uses positional advantages, or takes advantage of you, rather, when you try to take a positional advantage on him. Like when Nonito Donaire would take a lead foot dominance against him, and he would catch him with uppercuts or straight lefts in between that step. Where it's a lot more difficult to do that to a conventional fighter, especially because the angles are so different. It looks like he tried anyway, and we'll see some of that stuff. And what we're going to talk about for the narrative for this video is how Lomachenko likes to get close, and the only way to stop him from getting close is by controlling the space between him, right? Is by, and taking pivots and turns and, other stuff that Rigondeaux is usually pretty good at. But we're going to talk about how Lomachenko was able to take those tools away from him. But we will show that that Rigondeaux did try to use them. So let's go ahead and get into the video and talk about it. So I don't know why that clip was there. I think I'm missing some clips, actually. So right away you see Rigondeaux trying to control the space between them, right? He's got his lead hand up, and he's probing right there. You can see him moving his lead hand, making Lomachenko react to him. But also, you see right away, when he shoots a jab, Lomachenko, Rigondeaux tries to counter the jab, right, while he's moving off. Now, again, controlling the space between them, Rigondeaux's trying to do that. When Vasyl Lomachenko does his patented dip to his right side, immediately Rigondeaux tries to catch him with an uppercut right there, immediately. And then right away, right after that, you see again how easy it is right here when Rigondeaux is not controlling the distance, how easy it is for Lomachenko to get him out of position, right? And that's going to be another big theme of this video, is how easy it is to get Rigondeaux out of position when he's not controlling the space between them. And again, shooting the jab after the other jab, right? I don't know if you guys caught that, but boom. Shooting the jab after Lomachenko jabs, how easy it is to bait them. Then again, Lomachenko dipping, and then when he dips to that side, this time Lomachenko, because the uppercut, the left hook didn't land, the one to the body, he tries a different combination. Boom, boom. Tries a different combination to control the space between him and Lomachenko, because again, if he's not controlling that space, it's going to allow Lomachenko to get on the inside and start landing his punches more freely and very easily, in fact, as we all saw in the fight, right? Now, it's funny because, let's see what this clip is. I just chopped these all. There's a lot of them. You can see Rigondeaux here controlling the space, right? Using his lead hand, right? Fighting Lomachenko for lead hand dominance, right? And not allowing Lomachenko to feint and probe him as effectively to get on the inside, right? And this is all in the first round. Boom. And now this is the first time that Lomachenko counters Rigondeaux's jab. And I made a funny video, it was like a troll spammy clickbait video for why Rigondeaux's jab would not be effective against Lomachenko. And the reason that I made that video is not only because I thought it was true, right? When Rigondeaux would commit to his jab, Lomachenko would counter it, but because it was such a prevalent theme in the course of the fight with him and Gary Russell. There was a scene in the video, and I talked about it at length, where the beginning of the round, it goes exactly like this fight did. Gary Russell is controlling the space between them with his lead hand. He's shooting jabs. He's kind of probing a little bit, shooting a lot of jabs. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he shoots a jab, and Lomachenko slips the jab and tries to counter it, right? Let's get a look at that again. We'll look at it in slow-mo. The jab comes, he slips to the outside, takes a step. Notice how he steps with the shot too, so he's close enough to get power into the shot, and scrapes it behind, kind of on the back of the head of Rigondeaux, but that's just the way that Rigondeaux's ducking, right? The way that he's ducking and moving out of the way. If he wouldn't have moved, it would have caught him clearly on the temple. But he's able to counter that shot, and then the very next scene, right? And he gets like a little pot shot in there on taking an angle. The very next scene, notice Rigondeaux's not controlling the distance anymore. He's allowing Lomachenko to get close to him because he knows that if he sticks his lead hand out there like that and he throws a punch and he tries to control the distance, Lomachenko is going to counter him, right? So he's just like in the Gary Russell fight. Right after the counters, Gary Russell stopped controlling the distance between them, and that allowed Lomachenko to get close to him. Exactly like that, and here he lands a left hand to the body, boom, and then like a little right hook that misses, and then Rigondeaux bodies up with him. Now one thing that I really liked this about Lomachenko. He didn't use the pivots and the turns nearly as much as he does in his other fights, or even in the Gary Russell fight. Because of the fact, and I think that this is because of the fact that Rigondeaux's left hand is so fast, just lightning fast, and if Rigondeaux ever beats him to the line, he might be able to catch him with the left hand. So I like that rather than doing that, he just maintained control of Rigondeaux, right? Either waiting for him to spin and pivot and take an angle on his own, right? Or to make sure that he always has control of Rigondeaux. And notice when he does that, when he does break off, right, he controls Rigondeaux. So if Rigondeaux were to throw a left hand after pivoting right here, Lomachenko could control it. Beautiful. What a brilliant technique. I never would have thought that. Like, not even a million years would I have thought that would have been one of his strategies. I just would have thought immediately that he would try to be beating him to the line by taking smaller pivots and taking the effectiveness away from Rigondeaux's pivots and turns. But that's just brilliant boxing. And then, again, all in the same round, right? When Rigondeaux does go back to trying to control the distance with his jab, Lomachenko's able to slip it, boom, and catch him with some more shots again, boom, and get on the inside. And now this was another point of contention for me. We saw it in the Jazza Dickens fight. A few things I want to point out right now. Number one, the flaw in Rigondeaux's technique right here. And I talked about in the Jazza Dickens fight in the build-up to this. Look at how his weight is leaning on his leg, but his right leg is not pivoted. It's not turned. He's not on his toes on his right leg, right? And it doesn't allow his hips to turn, so he's stuck in this position. He cannot go anywhere, right? Just like the Erickson-Lubin, right? In the Erickson-Lubin fight, how he dipped like this. It's the same exact position. All he can do from this position is roll back to his other leg because he has no way to transfer his weight because his weight is too distributed. Because you might say it's because his feet are too far apart. That's not really it. It's actually because he doesn't have he's not distributing any of his weight, right? So see how all his weight right now is on his right leg, and now he just leans back and he just kind of swerves back, like kind of, and leans away from Lomachenko, and that allows Lomachenko to just take a step forward. Rigondeaux's not in a position to throw a punch because he can't transfer his weight from here, right? He has no way to get his weight from his left leg to his right leg. And it allows Lomachenko just to body up with him, control his arm. See how he controls his arm? Boom. And then throw that shot over the top and land it very easily. And again, all of that was off of Rigondeaux's own jab, right? Now the next round starts out very similarly. This is the second round. But I put this clip in there to show how easy it is for Lomachenko to get Rigondeaux out of position when he's not controlling the distance between them. Boom. He reacts to everything. Feint him. He brings his guard down, crosses chest, right? And again, that same technique in the next clip, right, where he leans all his weight on his right leg while he's ducking down, and he cannot get away from the shots from Lomachenko. And he's able to he gets caught right there a lot. Now, again, Rigondeaux realizing, a minute into the second round, I need to control the distance. I need to keep him off of me. And we talked about this in the Rigondeaux film study, talking about his training, how how when his coach was stepping forward, boom, he would step forward, and then Rigondeaux would throw a jab, boom, or throw a 1-2-3, right, or a 1-2-1, right, or a 2-1-2, right? And we talked about it, how I didn't think that that was going to be an effective way for him to control the distance when his opponent came at him, because he's committing to a shot already. And we see it right here. He commits to the jab. Lomachenko's easily able to parry it, slip it, and then take a positional advantage on him. Good thing for Rigondeaux this time, he makes an adjustment and he's able to like grab and hold him and get out of the way. Next clip right here, again, right? Taking away the jab of Rigondeaux. He shoots that jab, he gives him a double slip, and then Rigondeaux does the same exact thing where he leans all his weight on his back leg, right? This is something that's usually, this is only southpaws. Only southpaws do this, by the way, right? Because the way that they fight against orthodox fighters, it's a habit for southpaws to do this. Lomachenko doesn't do it because he has great fundamentals. Also, he's right-handed, so I think that probably plays a huge part in it. But this is a southpaw defensive flaw, you know. And interesting, for those of you that are interested in the Billy Joe Saunders fight, this is exactly what Billy Joe Saunders does when his opponents press him. And this is why I think that, and I'll be making a video on this too, this is why I think Billy Joe Saunders is going to get knocked the fuck out. But anyway, again, countering the jab right here. So counter the jab, countering the jab again. Rigondeaux knows it's coming this time. He's like, oh shit, got to get away from it. But he fails and puts all his weight on his back leg. He does do a good job of getting his right hand up and controlling Lomachenko so he doesn't take a shot. But he, as you can see now, he's no longer controlling the distance between them, and that allows Lomachenko to just come in, press him, and he's the one now controlling the space between them because he's taken away Rigondeaux's lead hand. Now again, Rigondeaux reacting to everything that Lomachenko does, right? And we talked about this too when we talked about the build-up to the fight when we watched Jazza Dickens feinting him and probing him, right? And this is the exact same motion that Jazza Dickens made, right? Rigondeaux reacted in the exact same way, ducking down and getting caught with shots. Next clip. Again, countering the jab, and he's easily able to take away the control that Rigondeaux is trying to establish. And we're going to also talk at the end of the video about some adjustments that Rigondeaux could make that are not just like technique-wise, like changing his, shifting his weight from his right leg to his left leg and pivoting, right? That are not just simple stuff like that, but a little more in depth. And we're going to show it using examples that Lomachenko used in this fight of ways to avoid feints and probes from Rigondeaux. But again, you know, he's not able to control the distance, and Rigondeaux reacts to absolutely everything that Lomachenko's doing. And because he's no longer trying to control the distance, he feints him low, feints him high. Now Rigondeaux brings his gloves up. He feints him low again. Rigondeaux tries to control the distance, and as soon as he does, he falls for the probe and eats a left hand to the body, and then a jab to the head right there, and then another left hand over the top. But again, look at Rigondeaux's body, right? So all his weight is pretty evenly distributed here, but as soon as he starts getting pressed, he doesn't pivot, he doesn't turn his hips, right? His right hip doesn't turn at all into his left hip, and he just leans onto his left leg, and he has nowhere to go but to roll his weight back to his right leg, and he just winds up walking into all these shots because he has a little bit of poor technique in that regard. Whereas if he were fighting an orthodox fighter, that tactic would be really useful against him because of the way that they get on the outside of his foot, rather than if you look at Lomachenko, how he's on the inside, right? If he was a southpaw, he'd be on the outside, and his body would be at a different angle, right? But again, that's one of the flaws of like a lot of southpaws, and again, why Billy Joe Saunders is probably going to get knocked out. But again, you know, this is was that clip in the third round? No, that was the second round still. So the third round starts off very similarly, right, to all the other rounds. Rigondeaux trying to control the distance, right? He comes out the same way, trying to control the distance with his lead hand. Now, this is a brilliant fucking clip, you guys. This is amazing right here, what he walks Rigondeaux into. So the beginning of the clip, right? I'm going to do this one in slow-mo because the video quality is so bad. But, okay, here we go. So he ducks down, right? gets Rigondeaux to change angles, right? Comes up, and Rigondeaux does the right thing. He finally trying to control him after he gets fainted, right? You have to do something other than just stay in the same position, right? So he controls him, and Lomachenko dips out. Then he ducks down, right? Then Lomachenko ducks down, gets Rigondeaux to change levels with him, but he comes up, and Lomachenko comes up, and Rigondeaux comes up in the same exact spot, right? Because he doesn't think anything is going to happen. Right after he just got fainted out of position, he comes up in the same exact position that he did before, and he starts getting wrecked by shots. Let's just watch that again in slow-mo. Just beautiful, right? Wait, let's watch the whole clip, my bad. So, feints him low, he brings him up, feints him low, he goes low, and then walks him into those shots. Beautiful boxing. And this is all because Rigondeaux is no longer controlling the distance, because every time he tries to use his lead hand, Lomachenko is able to feint and probe him and get on the inside, or when he uses his lead hand to punch, Lomachenko is able to counter him. And again, he's stuck down there after he gets hit with those shots, and he's only able to roll his weight into these punches from Lomachenko. Look at how sloppy he has to exit that engagement. Next clip. I guess slow-mo is just probably the best way to do this. And again, because Lomachenko has complete control of the space between them, Rigondeaux has to react to everything he's doing, and it's super easy for him to get him out of position. Now, the end of the third round, here we go, the end of the third round, Rigondeaux tries to control the space between them again, and with his jab, and again, he's able to slip that shot, boom, and catch him with the left hook right hook to the body. Now, the fourth round, again, starts out the same way as every other round. Actually, it doesn't look like Rigondeaux is controlling the distance right here, but he's reacting to everything, and at this moment, he's completely given up on control. But he does set like a little trap. That's what this one was. He sets a little trap, right? So he shoots the jab, right? Boom. And baiting Lomachenko to counter it, right? And he shoots that left hand, but, Lomachenko, all the ways that I've shown you that he countered Rigondeaux's jab, it's been a different way every time. Left hand over the top, double jab or a triple jab, then a right hook to the body. He hasn't given Lomachenko, or he hasn't given Rigondeaux any opportunities to really create patterns and establish patterns against him to take him out. Now again, Rigondeaux not controlling the distance anymore, right? He knows that the counters to his jab are coming, so he's able to easily feint him and walk inside and just do whatever he wants to do. Again, the same thing, slipping the jab, right? And he's able to easily come in. He sees that the feint, remember last round, he changes levels, right? He changes levels on him, and then Rigondeaux changed levels and got cracked. This time, Rigondeaux doesn't change levels, and Lomachenko knows that he's not going to move his head, and he just walks in and starts throwing punches because the feints have done their job now, right? So now he can just kind of throw punches at Rigondeaux, and Rigondeaux's not expecting them to be real punches because of all the previous feints and all the other probes, and he just kind of gets caught right there. But again, Rigondeaux in this really horrible position where he just walks his weight to his back leg and ducks down and starts getting clobbered by shots. And this is exactly what he did in the Jazza Dickens fight, like I said before. And he has no defense for it. He doesn't know where to go from here. And I think the rest of this clip is just him kind of reacting to Lomachenko. Again, not controlling the space between them. And it just allows Lomachenko to walk in, and Rigondeaux has to respect everything that he's doing because he doesn't know where the punch is coming. There's just too much variety for Rigondeaux to handle. And an unintentional low blow, I don't think it was intentional. But again, Rigondeaux goes to his jab, and as soon as he shoots another jab, right, slips that, boom, body shot, and then a shot over the top. And Rigondeaux just had no jab for this fight. He had no ability to control the space between them, and he just got smashed. Lomachenko was able to take away his jab and take away all the control that he had in the exact same way that he did it to Gary Russell, which was a masterful performance. And again, feinting him again, right? And you see Rigondeaux commit to two separate defensive postures and then start getting cracked, right? Boom, again, countering the jab, walking him into all these shots. And then Rigondeaux not even wanting to... Oh, and this is the 5th round now. Right here, this is the beginning of the 5th round. Rigondeaux tries to start the round off again using his jab to control Lomachenko, and Lomachenko is able to counter it and come over the top and take away that control. And then immediately after that control is taken away, Rigondeaux has to figure out something else to do to control the space, but he doesn't. He just winds up out of position the whole fight, because he's not as good as Lomachenko at understanding these tactics. Mostly because he's never fought anybody who's southpaw that's even half as good as Lomachenko. Again, countering the jab, blah blah blah, and just dominating him. And I don't do the last round, but this clip right here. Whoops. Now we're gonna get into the part where, so this is in the 5th round. We're gonna get into the part 4 where Rigondeaux could have made adjustments. What kinds of simple things he could have done to stop him from eating so many shots, and getting feinted and probed out of position so much. So here we have, whoops, not this clip, the next clip. So Rigondeaux's here, and he shoots a feint, right? Feinting jab, and what does Lomachenko do? He ducks down, he tries to get away from it, and then immediately after he gets feinted, right? He just got feinted. He understands that he has to control his opponent, or he has to use some kind of defensive responsibility, because he just got put into a position that he thought was going to be advantageous for what his opponent was doing, but it wasn't. He got baited into a shot, right? That's the whole idea behind feints and probes, is that you want to make your opponent make a mistake. So Rigondeaux, whoops, too far back. I wish there was a 1 second rewind here, but Rigondeaux feints him, gets him into a position that he may have wanted him into, and immediately Lomachenko says, oh shit, I'm in a position that he wants me to be in, right? Even if that's not true, right? Even if Rigondeaux didn't know he was going to go into that position, Lomachenko doesn't know that. So he has to respond in the best way possible by continuing to control him and take away the positional advantage that Rigondeaux may have just created. So he controls him and takes a step back. He puts his lead hand out there, and if that left hand from Rigondeaux would have come out, he may have been able to block it, but he's also able to make him think maybe he was punching, right? It just does so many things. The very next clip, right? Beautiful right here from Lomachenko, right? So he comes in, tries to control his lead hand. Lomachenko does, right? And then Rigondeaux feints him, right? And what does Lomachenko do? He controls Rigondeaux's jab because he thinks it's going to be a jab right here, and it wasn't, right? And he thinks because he just got feinted that the left hand might be coming, so he slips what would have been the left hand using defensive responsibility from a feint, and then moves off the line, and he doesn't stay there for Rigondeaux to continue setting shots up and to continue feinting him, right? Because he gets feinted, then he uses defensive responsibility to get away from whatever the feint was setting up, and then he knows that he might have just gotten double feinted and moves off the line like a smart fighter. Now Rigondeaux feinting him, he ducks and immediately moves out of the way. He knows that a left hand might be coming, so he starts circling to his left to get away from the left hand after getting feinted. Gets feinted by a jab, ducks down to his left, then ducks to his right to get away from a possible left hand, and then comes back up. But he gives him 3 different head slots off of this feint, right? He gets feinted, moves to his right, moves to his left back, right? And then comes up, right? All because he's respecting Rigondeaux, and that Rigondeaux may be setting him up for something. Slips the jab, right? And then takes a step back, and look at how he ducks down to his left to get away from a left hand in case the left hand comes. Again, using defensive responsibility to get away from shots, not taking any chances. Boom. But one thing I want to focus on real quick, look at Lomachenko's waist, right? And this is why Rigondeaux had so many problems. And I talked about this in the Jazza Dickens fight, I believe, is his poor weight transfer when he does make those moves. But look at Lomachenko's waist when he slips the shot. Look at how his waist dips into it. It's in slow-mo, so it's not moving. Dips into the slip, right? Just like he's throwing a right hand, or a left hand, right? And then he slips the other way, and his waist dips into his left leg, right? Because he's transferring his weight as he slips, right? Like a great fighter does. And then again, whoops, some more defensive responsibility. He gets feinted with the jab, right? Whoops, so slip, slip, gets feinted with the jab, right? He realizes he's out of position. Look at where his hands are. His chin is tucked under his shoulder, but he still gets his glove up to catch the left hand because he knows he just got feinted. He knows he has to respect Rigondeaux's power, right? And he's able to catch the shot. Boom, slip, slip. Again, more defensive responsibility. Just brilliant stuff. And this is all stuff that Lomachenko could have done too, right? Gets away from the left hand after getting feinted. And because he got double feinted right there, he moves off the line. He doesn't stay there in position for Rigondeaux to get hit, or for Rigondeaux to hit him. Anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think. If you saw any other interesting stuff in the fight. It was a pretty one-sided beatdown. Like I said before in the fight, I think that Lomachenko's, I think Rigondeaux's style was tailor-made for Lomachenko, and I didn't think that he had any. I thought, maybe a puncher's chance in the fight, but I thought that even giving Rigondeaux a puncher's chance was generous. I was hoping that the fight would be a little more competitive, a little more of that chess match stuff, but it was really early. It was really clear early on that Rigondeaux didn't understand the positions that he needed to be in, and he was giving up too much of his positional advantages by putting all his weight on his back leg and just kind of getting stuck there, and it made it like an easy fight for him. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thanks, guys.